Hello, so if you're wondering why the light is a bit weird, it's because I've put a UV bulb in just to give this a test, because I want to use a UV bulb as demonstration when I do the sort of decontamination video. So UVB is basically when you get UV lights, you get UVA, which is the one that's good at making things glow in the dark. You get UVB, which is like suntan bed kind of UV, and then you get UVC, which is the other one I've got, which gives you arc eye and like burns your skin. And creates ozone. UVB is probably the safest one you can use if you wanted to reliably kill germs without, needing like goggles on and everything. But yeah, Hype was recommending getting UV bulbs, so I've got one installed at the moment. It looks like a very, very bright white light if I look at it, but it's probably not a good idea to look directly at it because I imagine it will cause burns to the eyes. Yep, this is actually a reptile bulb because reptile bulbs are the cheapest way of buying UVB lamps. So the ceiling light isn't UVB. What I'll do, for coronavirus, you could just literally get like a cheap Tai Chem suit or one of those Tyvek suits, one of the things like that. Don't forget to like the stream, anybody coming on. I'm just going to flick the light off because I want to see what the UVB light looks like on its own. Oh, that is quite a nice ghostly white, isn't it? I imagine UVB isn't great, though, to have on if you're... I'm seeing, will the UVB make my watch loom shine easily? Is that interacting with that at all? I think a little bit, but it's not like intense UV. It's not like having one of these where you can have the super kind of luminous UV. That's UVA. So yeah, this type's UVA. The kind of really pale white one on at the moment is UVB. UVC is the one, oh god, my eyes, it burns, it burns, it burns, it burns. I think this was just under £20. You could get stronger ones than this as well. I might, if I get another one, get a stronger one, because initially I didn't know if this would be too intense, but it's not. Right, I'm glad it helped, Iman. Mike, if you want to put the links in, I don't think I put a description in this one, so if you want to paste links like you normally do, that would be great, because I forgot to put them in. One of the things I want to try, though, is UVB light is meant to be really good for eczema therapy. So where I get all the little cuts and kind of, scabby skin, that should help with that. If you're asking Alex Pro Gaming, how do you donate to join Discord? Two ways of doing it. You can donate via Patreon below. There's a Patreon link. You click on Patreon, and then once you do that, it basically just, gives you, you can PM me on Patreon. That's the easiest way of doing it. Or you can donate during the stream using Super Chat, and then just post your Discord ID after you've donated via Super Chat. Yeah, I've got a GP4. There's weirdly, look, one right up there. See it there? I'll put the main ceiling light on again so we get a lot of extra proper lighting rather than the, ghostly UVB. But with the UVB light, I don't know if this would be any good, but because, UV is like sunlight and it wakes the body up, I'm wondering if I got a UVB light and put it in my alarm clock light rather than the regular bulb it has in it, would that be good for waking me up? Speaking of Polish gas masks, look what came today. The windscreen wiper one. I've never used a Mirafilter. Let's try this one on. It's got a bit of a weird strap system because it's quite retro. So how does this do up the straps exactly? Obviously, this is the neck strap. I'm assuming you somehow link this bit into there, do you? It's a bit of a weird strap system. Just trying to figure this out. What was funny, though, is the person included a little drawing with it when I bought it. Thank you for purchasing me. I'm not a GP5. So, wasn't that interesting? But yeah. So, let's get an FP5 filter. I might as well open this one up and pop it on. Hello, Peach. I can't remember the name of it. I know it's made by Fraser. I can't actually remember what the exact name is. I'm pretty sure it's the one they used in the scene of the divers in Chernobyl. It's a Polish, industrial mask. Anyway, let's see if I can get this. Does it actually take filters, this mask? Or does it, I think it might actually connect to an airline, saying that. Or does it? Oh, no, there is a screw. It was just the washer had really risen up. So, yeah, let's get that filter screwed in. It should work fine. If not, I'll put that GP5 filter in it. Oh, there we go. Screwed in fine. Right, there we are. Yeah, very random to get that in a mask. Never had that before. Random like illustration with a mask, but there you go. So let's figure this out then. How does this go on? It's pretty small. It might be a bit too small for my head, I think. So there's that. I assume actually maybe this was meant to attach to the back of a suit or something. Because it certainly doesn't connect to the strap there, so that is a weird system. Never seen one like this before, but there you go. Unless this somehow loops around and connects on there that way. Like that buckle, is that it? Does that buckle attach there or something? Yeah, it's a weird system. Let me take this off again a second and try and figure it out. No, this is not a GP9. This is a phaser mask made in Poland during the Cold War. This type of thing. I think it was industrial. I doubt the camera's going to focus on that, but yeah, it's kind of like a really weird old Cold War mask. Yeah, I reckon that bit actually goes around there on your neck once you've got this on. So let's do this bit again. Not the most comfortable design, I've got to say, with how this strap system works, but whatever. So that's that bit there. And then can we figure out how to reach that across there? There we go. And then as it fogs up, you do that. An oral nasal cup's probably a lot more practical in all honesty, but this is quite a funny design. Yeah, field of view is definitely quite small because, yeah, it doesn't sit near your eyes. Anyway, I'll take it off now. Yeah, as much as this can be used as a filter, I assume this probably was originally designed kind of for like divers use or something, because it doesn't quite seem like the sort of setup you'd want on a you know, regular respirator. But it's bloody cool. What, the wiper sound? Yeah, I'm pretty sure these were the masks they used in the Chernobyl TV series when the guys go down into the basement to drain the water. But yeah, I just thought I'd show that because it came today. I think I still need to leave feedback for it, but bloody cool. So that's that. I'm trying to think, was there anything else that came today? No. Yeah, I wish more masks had a windscreen wiper function, but the problem is, you know, like I said, it's better just to have an oral nasal cup. So yeah, could do, Richard. As soon as the stream ends tonight, I want to get a bit of footage filmed of the Gen 2 night vision I'm having lent to me at the moment, thanks to Laser Point Production. Because he wants it sent off soon. When you say pink S, do you mean the PMKS? I've heard it's good, but I don't like the PMK 1 or 3, but I heard the S is a lot better. Do you have an MC1? Yes, I've got an MC1. Search my channel for the name of a gas mask if you want to find out if I've got it or not. AK-74 over an AR-15, but AR-15 over an AK-47. But seeing as I don't have either because I'm in the UK, it's not really all that relevant, is it? But yeah, so that UVB bulb was quite weird. Thank you very much, Edge Black Star. I appreciate it. Well, anti-fog, it fogs up pretty quickly, but then you use the windscreen wiper. So, you know, that's one sort of anti-fog method. No, as I said in the video, the Force 8 has a 4-point filter. 3M masks have a 3-point bayonet style filter. See that? Like 4 prongs. So now it's a different sort of design. What, as in goggles that don't have any vents in, or ones that have vents in? I mean, vent ones will demist better, but again, there's more of a risk of shit getting in them. I've got an Avon M50 that's good. So the C50 is the M50 in 40mm, so it'd be lovely in that regard. But it depends. Do you want it as like a really good mask to use for yourself? In that case, yes, that's a good price. Do you just want it as a collectible? If so, I'd say you could probably get quite a few other quite nice collectible masks for less. Some army surplus stores sell filters. The one that used to be near me used to have a couple of old filters in that were like £1 each, which was a really cheap way of buying filters if you just wanted ones for like decorating kind of use. But most army surplus stores I see either don't stock them or they won't have in-date stuff. You generally want hardware stores for filter because they've got more of a market for it. Tyvek suits like the one behind me, or Tychem suits, the bright coloured DuPont ones, or basically pretty much any painter decorator suit that's slightly waterproof. But for the coronavirus, you probably do not need a NBC suit at this stage. Thanks, Mike. No, I mean, certain motorcycle helmets might fit with certain masks, but it really depend on the design, a bit like where I've tried riot helmets and masks, but a motorcycle helmet's going to be even more enclosed, so I doubt there'd be very few that would fit under it. Don't feed the trolls, Magic Platypus. S10s, in the UK, they used to be £30. They're well over that now. Most would go between £60 and £100 because the surplus of them is slowly drying up. If you mean modern ones, Mate, NBC ones, yes. All modern NBC suits have a P3 heater at the front. Older ones don't necessarily. They always normally have some sort of particle filter on, but it's mostly, obviously, just due to... I'm just going to see if I can open one of these up without damaging it to kind of show what the inside of one of these filters would look like, but I don't know if there's an easy way of doing it. I imagine inside it will be exactly like my 3M one. Nah, but it doesn't look like it will. But yeah, 2029, so yeah, these have a very long expiry date on them, basically 10 years. But again, particle filters don't really expire. Actually, if I lift this flap up, you can probably see what they look like. Easier said than done, though. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, see, it's just a HEPA rigid filter in there. High efficiency particulate air. So yeah, the air goes in around the side bits there, through a HEPA there. Have you seen the quivers weapon collector does, Flying Frog? Because if not, he does custom quivers for the pistol crossbows that would probably work quite well for what you want. Where did you buy it from, Insulted? Because generally most places give you a shipping estimate. I do what we've been suggesting on every stream, which is stock up on supplies, which I already sort of do, and then just wait it out. Furious Matthew is somebody who clearly doesn't understand science, so he can go along with all of the 5G cause corona idiots. Yeah, you'll notice day by day all the news media is slowly getting to the point where they're taking it more seriously, but they've obviously been told to, reduce panic kind of things and very, very slowly inform people, which is a very bad way of doing it. Who told you it's a bad idea, Armed ASMR? I've heard 70% is apparently the sweet spot for disinfecting, so if you have a stronger one, just water it down a bit more. Some people have been saying, rubbing alcohol damages masks, but I've never had any experience of that in my, whenever using it. Right, so I've got a UVB bulb on at the moment. UV light kills viruses when they're on surfaces. That's all it is. So it's a UVB bulb that's in the corner. I don't know if I can... no, it's not going to pull over enough. What I can do is just show you that with the webcam. But see that? UVB bulb. Bright, glowing white light of death. Not as bad as UVC, which literally kills everything, and UVX is even worse. But UVB is the one they use in sun tanning beds, and it kills a virus on the surface very quickly. But yeah, you can buy reptile UVB bulbs. It'd probably be pretty impractical to have a lot in the house, but what I was going to say in tomorrow's video when I get round to filming it is that you could probably, if you needed to, set a UVB bulb up in your porch, you know, like your mud room, you know, cleaning room, whatever you want to call it. So when you go in, you can flick the light on and have it disinfect the surfaces in there when you like strip off your gear you've been outside in. Yeah, I doubt it's going to tan me that efficiently because obviously a UV bulb like that isn't very bright. You know, if you see how much UV light comes off the sun and how long it takes to tan under the actual natural sun compared to just having a bulb like that. What is the price, Alex Pro Gaming? Unless you tell me the price, I don't know. You didn't include a price. $60 is a bit expensive for a Serbian M2, especially as it might randomly mount on you. 13 watts, but I think it's the energy saving kind of watts, which means it's technically stronger than that. Let's see if anywhere on the thing it actually says what it works out as. See if there's a little bit inside the box. And how would one magically boost their immune system other than eating a healthy diet? Annoyingly, the instructions are right at the bottom and won't come out. Let's see if I can open the bottom of the packet and get them that way. Warning, HG lamp contains mercury, so it means don't smash it. This device is not intended for use with emergency exit fixtures or emergency light, not for use when exposed to the weather, not for use in totally enclosed recess luminaires, whatever that means. I don't think any of those apply to me not using it in a thing. Just tell me what the bloody price is, Alex. Don't... Oh, about £16, and it's... Yeah, that's an alright price for it. That's a very good price for it, actually. Yes. As long as it's the 40mm one, not the proprietary Scott Pro 2 filters or whatever they're called. But yeah, that's a good price. Get some. I'm in the UK, so that would be illegal, Oxy. So if you're joking, I'd be very careful about what you say. Every 60 to 40mm adapter I've seen is literally the exact same thing, a bit of plastic. So, and they're not branded normally. It was just nations built them en masse for sort of retrofitting 60 to 40mm masks. Depends totally on the Army Surplus Radiation King. They're not normally a corporation. It's normally one bloke or whatever or his family running an Army Surplus. So depends what the price is for an item and depends if you know what the price should be. If it's overpriced, you could try and haggle. If it's at a sensible price, you know, just buy it. Thank you very much again, Eric. As long as they are not what? As long as what's not Eric, sorry. Have I missed something there? Why can't you get one of those Force 8s? They should have a load on Amazon at the moment. All right, okay, so there's two types of Scott Pro filters, Eric. I might have a box. Yeah, I've got a box over there, so I can actually demonstrate it. Because I bought some for some DIY projects. But with Scott filters, the Scott Pro range. There's the 40mm Pro ones, which are the ones I'd recommend. The problem is there's also Scott's proprietary Pro filters, which look like this. Which way? Twist that off. Just trying to open this one. But yeah, the problem is that, there we go, they do proprietary ones as well. So if you buy the wrong type, you can only use them on the Scott masks, you know, like the 3M domestic ones kind of thing. If you get the Pro filters, the actual 40mm ones, that's absolutely fine. The only issue I would say of the Scott 40mm filters is they don't seal them very well. It's literally like it comes in a plastic bag and your filter's in that. So it's not, you know, a case of... yeah. But I would recommend, Eric, if you've got some of the Scott Pro Vapor ones, putting them in a separate bag as well, just because, you know, like I was saying, they only just seal them in like a vacuum-packed bag rather than plugging the filters and putting them in a bag. But yeah, these filters, they'd be perfectly fine for what they are if you've got the masks these fit to. But yeah, the issue is if people were on about Scott Pro filters, make sure you're buying the 40mm ones for most masks, not their domestic ones. As I said, I just bought a load of these really cheap on eBay because I wanted to use them to kind of like mod into different masks. British Mickey Mouse gas mask. That's a bit expensive, but it's an antique. You wouldn't ever want one to protect yourself, and it's got asbestos in the filter. But, you know, if you're buying one simply for the sake of, I want a, you know, mask that's cool as a old mask if it's in good condition, sure. I wouldn't recommend wearing one wherever you go, but certainly carrying a mask wherever you go might be a sensible idea. Just keep it in a little pouch or something, because that way, you know, you can keep it in a pouch, and if you're on a bus or something and it looked really crowded and you were a bit worried, you could put it on, but for the most part, nobody would even see you've got it. What do you mean, Don? Do you have access? Oh, you're saying, oh, I see. What should Don buy? Just buy a 3M or any other branded one. I'm sure on US eBay you can find a decent 40mm mask. If you've got an Israeli Type 80 filter, those are good. Yeah, they did them in a lot of colors. Black, tan, green. I think like a beige color as well. But the filter medium's the exact same in each one. Well, there was a thing, Murray, recently where some bloke apparently got thrown off of a flight he'd booked because he actually wore a mask on the flight. Now, he was fucking stupid because he didn't have a filter on his mask, so there was no point in wearing a mask whatsoever. But, you know, it kind of shows you that there are some people who will literally raise a fuss over the fact you want to protect yourself. Well, as I've been saying over and over again, British Empire, it'll be when it gets really bad. At the moment, I think it's more of a case of just watching what's going on and taking good sanitation precautions. But yeah, if it gets to the stage where you have to go out in public, like maybe to go buy supplies or something, and, you know, the infection rate is quite high at this point, that's when I'd wear a mask because, you know, better safe than sorry. Well, they filters, because if you mean just like the Scott 95 respirator, €65 is still a bloody good price for that. Let me just look on eBay in case there are any for sale at the moment, because if there are for even €65, I'd like to get one. Sadly, none on UK eBay. It's not surprising, but it's just ages of saving it cause and kind of you know, collecting shit. Yeah, I think it would be good, Aaron. I don't have one myself, but looking at the build quality of it in the reviews, there shouldn't be any problem. Well, firstly, Mossin, you have to be very careful about the numbers coming out of China because they don't have enough test kits, so they can't even test people. We know the dead numbers are certainly nowhere near as high as they are meant to be, coming, from the videos coming out. I mean, if the recovery rate is passing the fatality rate and it's actually a realistic number, then that's good. The problem is, for sure, a lot of the numbers coming out of China are like propaganda numbers or just not properly reported. I'm not going to really recommend, especially people who are a bit squeamish, looking up some of the videos coming out of Wuhan, but if you do, I mean, yeah, not all of them can be verified. The amount of body bags filled with bodies everywhere, or just corpses with sheets over them, is pretty extreme. It's definitely higher than the number they're claiming. No, it's not in this room. Just look up my video on the Mickey Mouse mask if you want to see it. But yeah, I don't keep it in this room. I keep it with my most valuable masks, where they're in a cupboard out of the sunlight, like 24/7. So although I'll get it out to show them now and again, I won't randomly, leave it out in the room. Literally like what I did behind me there. Buy the 99% stuff because it's normally cheaper than the 70%. Water it down yourself. You can buy like 5 litres, 10 litres on eBay from chemical suppliers for pretty cheap. Yeah, apparently even the crematoriums, though, are over capacity at the moment. Because apparently there was stuff like, originally they were saying they only ran 4 hours a day, and now they're running the crematoriums 24/7. There's still videos of, like literally all the rooms in the crematorium is filled with body bags. You need filters on a gas mask cause or a respirator. Without filters, they're useless. They just protect your face. The whole point of the mask is basically to take a filter. So without a filter, it's not going to protect you. It will protect your eyes and stuff like that, but because you're breathing, you'll just breathe the poisonous air in anyway. Yeah, that would be good enough, British Empire. Military NBC filters are basically P3 ABEC or P3 ABE. I've already got a UVC lamp, but I wouldn't run that while doing a video like this because my skin would be burning and my eyes would be burning. Which site was that? I've not heard of this, but where did they get the numbers from? Because it would be very easy for just one of the random trackers online to put a fake number on, and then go, "Oh, it was a mistake," or "Whoops," pretend it didn't happen. The thing is, with all of this, the thing with, like I was going to say, is all of this was just, be very careful where you get the numbers from, because there can be some people that could literally claim millions are already dead, which is false, and other people claiming, it's not bad at all, it's just a flu, which is blatantly false if you've seen any of the footage. So just make sure you cite reliable information. Depends what you're doing with them, Petra, but if you've got a P3 filter, P100 filter on a mask like this, even if you were wearing it for like an hour, breathing through it every day, unless you're in really dusty, smoggy environments, they would last literally months and months. No, I don't have a GP1 gas mask. I don't know if such a thing even exists. The main thing a lot of proper medical channels are saying that's worrying is it seems there's like a 10% pneumonia rate or something with this. So the issue is that if 10% of people who catch this get pneumonia and the hospitals are overstretched, you'll die from pneumonia because they won't be able to put you on oxygen. So that seems to be the main worry at the moment. If you think of it in a Western country, as if too many people get it at once, the hospital resources won't be able to cope, even if they can treat you fine and make sure you survive it. Now, even if we assume they're getting better at recovering people, if more people are catching it, more people would die anyway. If it's a percentage, number of how many people survive and how many people die if they get it, the more and more people get infected. And don't forget, as viruses spread and become a pandemic, they spread faster and faster. That would literally mean more people die and more people recover. There's not something strange about that. But I would actually think in China, a lot of the hospitals are totally overwhelmed at this point. Yeah, they're meant to be designed, Richard, I think, so air flows in but doesn't flow out, so any like germs can't get out of the hospital that way. That's why they can't just put people in warehouses, even though they're starting to do that now anyway, because of just like lack of space. Yep. What, from 2012 that expire in 2022 email? Then that's absolutely fine for that, because you're paying like just over £15 a filter, aren't you? Which isn't bad at all, because you only need to keep them sealed till you need them. I don't think people with the regular flu get pneumonia and like spasms that we've been seeing from videos. I mean, if you said it's like the flu but just really, really nasty and can give you pneumonia, then that's pretty accurate. But in terms of you know, a lot of the complications you can get from it, it doesn't seem like flu at all. Well, you completely regret it because the GP7 doesn't make a good face seal and steams up and all that sort of stuff. UVC is closer to like the X-ray wavelength, so it's a lot more damaging to your skin and things. It also means it kills things more efficiently. That's why they call it germicidal. But there's a video, I don't think it's live yet on my channel, where I tested it one of my Geiger counters and it was reporting X-rays when next to a UVC lamp. Whether or not that was completely true, I don't know. But I know a lot of the time if you look at UVC on like spectrums, UVC can definitely cross into the X-ray wavelength for soft X-rays. I'm pretty sure, Brown, that video was apparently somebody having an epileptic fit. You know, it wasn't related to coronavirus, but a lot of people were sharing it, and I saw that and thought, oh, is that a symptom? There are certainly symptoms of people with coronavirus in hospital kind of shaking, you know, like that. So it definitely seems to do something. But that guy was having apparently an epileptic fit in that video. UVB doesn't produce ozone, UVC does. But yeah, it stinks like fuck after a while. I do not like the smell of ozone. Some people apparently really like the smell of ozone. I do not. I think it's a bit of a conspiracy theory if you're saying coronavirus doesn't exist, because if that's the case, then every single person who gets it and dies in China and all the videos are somehow faked and staged. And also, China is massively damaging their own economy trying to deal with it. So it's certainly not fake. Whether or not you could say people are overreacting or underreacting, that's your prerogative. But, you know, it's certainly not fake. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody, because it says there's 248 viewers so far and 115 likes. So it'd be good to get the likes up closer to the number of total viewers, just so YouTube shares the videos a bit more. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to whiten plastic. Do you mean like dirty plastic? But also, UVC would actually cause damage to masks like the GP5 and make them go brown. So you're still going to cause UV damage to a lot of surfaces. Are particulate masks the same as N95? Depends how you mean, because particulate is just a type of filter. So particulate filters on a respirator is a different thing to an N95 mask. N95s are basically dust masks, if that makes sense. Thank you, Eric. How much does the concentration need to be poisonous? Because I know you can use like small amounts to be safe with humans and clean, you know, environments with it. But yeah, I really don't like the smell of it. Whenever I use the UVC lamp to kill mold in the house, I always have to have the windows open because otherwise it smells like a weird bleach smell for hours and hours and hours in the room. I really don't know if that's true or fake, Jake, because I've seen various things on various sites saying it's either true or fake, and I'm not a doctor. So I have no way of looking at that and telling you if it's true or fake. So, you know. Yeah, I did the simple thing. A guy who plays racing games, just shave it all off, makes it fast. Fast and easy. Doesn't cost me any money because I've already bought the clippers. Although saying that, next time I clip my hair, I think I'm going to buy a new pair of clippers because the ones I've got are definitely getting old and a bit unreliable now. Let's Google it, Cyber, and see. There's lots of medical papers on it. But yeah, you'd have to do a lot of Googling to find exact numbers, but what Hype was saying is that any UV light kills viruses, but obviously UVB and UVC are more efficient, but you don't really, most people would not want to put up with a UVC lamp because you don't want to be putting on sunglasses and like a cloak every time you want to walk past the light. You know, otherwise, oh, my skin's burning. Oh, my eyes have got arc eye. Oh, I smell ozone in my house. Have you tried it mossing the gamp with isomyl acetate though? Because if you haven't, you've probably just not got an airtight seal that you think's airtight. There's one literally right there. See it? VM44 right there. If you have a plague doctor's mask that's airtight except the beak and you stuffed a load of filter medium into the beak, that might work. After payday, I am very tempted to buy a plague doctor's like dress-up mask and then actually try and see if I can bodge it into a gas mask just to have a functioning plague doctor's gas mask for shits and giggles. It would depend on what's in the bleach, Martin, and thank you very much for the donation. A lot of bleaches contain sodium hydroxide, which is a pH 14 alkali. I've done torture tests on some masks using just literally pure lye in powder form in like water and chucking the masks in. Most survive it absolutely fine. Like some bits of metal get stained or slightly corroded, but otherwise it's fine. But I'd be careful what they put in bleach because I'd imagine budget bleaches are better for this. But I imagine some fancy bleaches have loads of fragrant stuff in and a load of other chemicals, which again is more likely to damage it. Well, as I said, if I'm having to go out in one, I definitely wear a panoramic one just because, again, it looks less threatening to other people, which is what you want. It means people are less likely to think it's some sort of terrorist, whatever the fuck they'd think. I don't know. But yeah, what I'm going to do, Ghost Jesus, is get one and then see if I can get one that's well built enough to bodge it into an actual mask. And then I can actually use it in videos to demonstrate why they did not work as gas masks. You know, because miasma theory and herbs and spices and flowers in the beak, not an actual filter medium. I like the BSA Hornet. It's only £100 in the UK retail, like RRP, and it's very good for that price. eBay, literally all my gas masks are from eBay. I'll let you know if there's one that's not from eBay, but nearly every single gas mask I get is eBay. Same with Geiger counters and whatever the hell else. You can, Murray, but they'd have very little power unless you got them on a firearm certificate, and then most people, if they're bothering to get a firearm certificate, will just get, you know, like a 308 or 303 rifle or whatever. Thank you, Bob. But yeah, most people, Murray, because of the laws where they fall over into firearms or not firearms, most people just get 177 or 22 air rifles, just because that way you get something that's fairly high velocity with the foot power limitations. I don't think you're going to get a cheap working filter for the GP5 because FP5s aren't very expensive. Let me see what the cheapest FP5 is I can find on eBay at the moment, unless you're like in the US or something and have to pay extreme postage. But let's have a look. FP5 filter. There's one for £15.90. The first result. So that's one B store selling. I'll link you. There you go. I think Mike's probably inserting the links as well. Yeah, he's just done FP5. Yeah, how they do it over here, Murray, is that if it's over 12 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, then it has to be registered as a firearm, so you can't have it without a firearm certificate. So all my air rifles are about 11 foot-pounds. Generally 10 to 11 foot-pounds is what most people opt for, because then you don't have all the strong laws restricting them. So how it works is you can have pretty much any caliber, but obviously the weight, with the velocity, however you do the mathematics, can't go above a certain thing. A heavy pellet can't go above a certain velocity, or a light pellet, although it can go faster, it can't go whatever it is, because then when it breaks that amount of foot-pounds of muzzle pressure, it's breaking the law. How powerful? At least 10 foot-pounds, I'd say, Bowser. When I had both my air rifles working, if I shot it side by side with the same pellets as my Crossman Nitro Venom, the Crossman Nitro Venom was probably just over 11 foot-pounds, 11.5 foot-pounds of most pellets. That's just estimating it with a chrono and, how far pellets will go into things. If you shot them both side by side, the Hornet wouldn't penetrate quite as far as the Nitro Venom, but they would both penetrate pretty efficiently. So, yeah. In that regard, it was fairly, for the very cheap price, it's a very good air rifle. It's just a well-made Springer, really. Not as far as I'm aware, gaming, with coming off to give me some examples. Oh, cool, I will do, Milan, but the annoying thing is the wild clippers I had at one point, I don't think even lasted me a year before they randomly just broke. Like they wouldn't power on anymore, and they were ones with a plug socket. Although I'm tempted to get a wild rechargeable one, potentially. Oh, I don't know how would your comment, but I'll show it. But yeah, I know most people love wild clippers, or wild clippers, however it's pronounced. But yeah, for whatever reason, the ones I got, I think I must have just been unlucky and got a dodgy model. But yeah, I'll probably get rechargeable ones just because I find it handy doing it without the cord and having to get an extension lead out for the bathroom. Especially the ones that you can run off the cord and they'll charge and work at the same time. But right, the main thing they have to do at hospital that you can't really do at home is give people oxygen, as in, give them an air tank going into their nose, because it seems the problem a lot of people have is like respiratory issues when they get the virus, like complications like pneumonia. What are you on about a dog carbon fiber? What's the miner's gas mask? I know you'd have to give me a link, and it won't let you give me a link, but yeah, interesting. Well, I suppose you could, Eric, but yeah, you'd have to invest quite a bit to get all that and know how to use it properly. That's the issue. What those things they give people with sleep apnea, would they do any good? Because I know there's the sleep apnea things where you have like the air lines going into your nose. Yeah, but the thing is, the rechargeable hair clippers I've got now, Sven, that I've had for years, that are only just starting to go, as in, I think the motor in them sort of going on wrong. They definitely last more than like 30 minutes if you give them a full recharge, and I can do my hair in way less than 30 minutes now. But yeah, I might look into a Philips clippers as well, because I know when we used to sell clippers when I used to work at Argos, Philips clippers were pretty popular and they were good. I won't need to cut my hair for like a month to 2 months now anyway. Because yeah, when I've done it to this length, it lasts literally, a couple of months before I get annoyed at my hair getting long again. Well, I'll say I like it. I like the look of it, Aaron, but I don't have one, as I've been saying over and over when I'm asked in these streams. After payday, I'll probably get one just to review it, but I've got a replica pH gas hood, but that's it. I wouldn't really buy a Wobble one mask, so I wouldn't look after it properly and it would get damaged. And I kind of like, the thing I like as well is getting masks that are cheapish surplus ones or industrial ones, that I can review and then let people know if I like them or not, for the lower prices, because for most people that's more of stuff they're interested in rather than like antiques. Because the thing is, I think as in a collector's market for gas masks, that's a lot more limited than people saying I want something cheaper that will protect me. That's interesting. Can a positive attitude? Well, sadly, I don't think being happy or being sad protects you from a virus. If you get a virus, the better your mental health, the more likely you are to fight through it. A lot of stuff like that is to do with mental kind of, ability to conquer stuff and get through problems. But the issue is that no, simply saying I'm in a happy mood, I'm not going to catch the virus will give you fuck all in ways of protection. Just as we learned throughout history that lots of all the bullshit theories to do with medicine were wrong. Like miasma theory. Germs are bad smells, basically. So if you make nice smelling things, you won't get germs or a virus. That didn't work very well for people in the past. Same as, whipping yourself didn't drive out viruses or plagues either, because I don't think God gives a shit, in that regard. So yeah, I would certainly not do anything that isn't recommended by modern medical science. Also, homeopathy is bullshit as well. Don't believe if they say there's a little tiny bit of coronavirus in this tablet, take it to cure yourself. No, you're more likely to kill yourself doing that. Probably a mix of both. I think people, if they have seen the videos coming out of Wuhan and they're saying just a flu, they are being literally malicious about it. If it's people that don't know anything about it and just parroting just like the flu or whatever, then they're just very misguided and a bit sheepish. Even I hate using the word sheeple, but you know what I mean. It's one of those things where I think if you'd clearly seen the videos coming out of Wuhan, you would have no right to say that, because it wouldn't be killing so many people and overwhelming so many doctors if it was just the flu. And I think it does a massive disservice for all the people on the front lines fighting it, like medics, doctors, nurses, all those sort of people, because if it was just the flu, it wouldn't matter, would it? But clearly there's doctors catching it and dying from it. That's your best bet. If you get the virus early on, as we were saying in another stream, that's your best survival bet before everything gets overwhelmed, because then you can be treated for it in hospital and all that. But we don't know, though. Could a few months down the line you develop more complications from it? We won't know at this stage. It could be possible that your lungs will get totally fucked like 3 months after having the virus. We don't know. Well, British Empire, the miasma theory is total bullshit. If you're saying it accidentally sometimes made people stick around cleaner things and dirty things, that would be true. But bear in mind, in the medieval period, they were just literally throwing their shit and piss into the street. So I don't think those people had any fucking clue about hygiene. Yeah, I'm not saying it to hate China. I am literally, the thing is, any country that does numbers, you always have to be cautious of them. Any country, any company, when they have to release figures, we get companies all the time that get sued because they put false information out to try and raise their share price and all shit like that. So you get all that sort of problems. Even if it's like a company, in a Western country with all sorts of financial regulations against them anyway. Governments lie all the time, no matter where you are in the world. I don't mean that in the super conspiracy kind of way, just, governments lie about how they're spending money or, break promises all the time. So then when it comes to an authoritarian communist system, of course they're going to lie. Because China knows if they literally said this is really bad, it's really serious, it would hurt a lot of investment in China and trading with China. So that's why they're not doing that. And that's not really a good thing, because I think really the best thing would have been initially when they realized how bad it was, just saying, look, this is terrible. We're going to need to throw everything we can at this. Please help us, rest of the world. Because they didn't want to do that, You know, they took a lot more of the Soviet kind of Chernobyl approach of saying, yeah, not great, not terrible. You know, it's well under control. Nuclear catastrophe can't happen in the Soviet Union. Soviet reactors are the best in the world. They've been doing all that stuff, which has made it worse and worse because living in a make-believe, feel-good land doesn't fix real problems. You actually have to address them. Yeah, I think I've only had flu about 3 times in my life, someone. Yeah, flu is literally where you don't want to get out of bed. You feel fucking terrible every day. Yeah, flu and colds are very different. But yeah, with the flu, you literally feel fatigued. And, you know, the best way I can explain flu to people who have not had it is if there's something that would normally really excite you and stuff like that, that I think it was one year, either after my birthday or after Christmas. I can't remember what it was. I spent a lot of birthday money or Christmas money relatives have given me on a load of shit I was really excited for. When it came, because I had the flu, when I think my mum or my dad goes, oh, your parcels have arrived, I was like, oh, I don't care, you know, and just wanted to sleep. And that gives you like some idea of just how kind of, you know, out of it you are when you've got the flu. I don't know what you mean by air purifier with UV lights on it, but if you had a room air purifier that also had a UV light next to it, it would certainly help. It's not going to do anything worse. The only thing you have to be careful of is obviously false sense of security with some things. It's like, you know, if you have a respirator on and went out in public, but then didn't wash your hands, didn't follow any of the precautions, you're probably still going to get it. It could be, or maybe something else will come. But the thing is, scientists have been saying for like decades we're well overdue a deadly pandemic because generally, yeah, we don't go all that long on Earth. You know, every 50 to 100 years, there does seem to be a massive thing that kills off quite a good amount of the Earth's population. That's just the way it works. You know, people have put up with it throughout history and will have to put up with it. The good news is this is the best possible time to be alive if there is a pandemic in terms of how good medical services are, you know, and what drugs are available. You know, much better than being, you know, living in the 1700s or something, having a plague going around. That depends, Aaron, because I mean, at least when I'm doing the YouTube stuff, I work from home. I'm not in at work this weekend because I've got it booked off as holiday. Next weekend I'm in, but the thing is with my job, I think it's a kind of job where if it starts getting really bad, they tell us not to come in just because there'd be no point being open because we wouldn't get anybody coming to buy stuff. There's one benefit I can think of, email, that will sound horrible, but in the UK, housing is totally unaffordable for people of my generation. I want to move out at the moment, and I'm going to be rent sharing with one of my friends, but he's currently trying to set up a 40-hour, you know, sort out a 40-hour plus work week job to be able to afford his half of the rent. And, you know, I suppose a big plague would be good in the sense that if a lot of houses become vacant, then all of a sudden it would be a lot easier to, you know, get affordable housing. But I mean, I know that sounds pretty horrible, but that's it. One of the only upsides I can see on it. Yeah, in my area, it's like 200 to 300 grand for a 1-bedroom apartment or 1-bedroom house that's in a bit of a shit area. To give you some idea, in dollars, that would be like $500,000 for a 1-bedroom tiny house. And that'd be pretty cool. Person with an Asian name that I have no idea how to pronounce. But thank you, Eric. What did I say that was cynical? I'm pretty misanthropic, but yeah, I suppose I'm cynical. But yeah, how far do you? What you should get, I don't know if it's possible, is can you get like a giant UVB flashlight? You know, one that's like a really, really bright mag-light style UVB flashlight that you can just wave at people and decontaminating you. The CM3 is Czech. The Polish MC1 is the Polish equivalent. Yeah, so I suppose 1-bedroom, if you divided that by 3, would still be 333k, wouldn't it? Now, as I was already saying, the numbers are certainly higher than what China are admitting, but that's a pretty fucking horrible thing to do, carbon fiber, burning people with a UVC lamp. Yeah, exactly, Richard. It's stupid, isn't it? That's the thing, because I don't really like the idea of renting just because it's like you're wasting the amount of money. But the point is that when it would literally be you'd have to live with your parents till like the age of 40 or 50 and save up a lot of money just to simply buy a house. I mean, one thing they were on about on the news, that's a pretty dire situation as well. One of the things they were on about on the news that was horrible as well in the UK is in lots of areas, the price of the houses, with current immigration and birth rates and everything, the price of houses actually inflates more than what most people make in an average salary per year. So even if you're pretty much saving 90% of your money, the house prices is still going up faster than your income. So you pretty much have to just inherit a house at this point. And that's, if only you knew how bad things really are. I know a lot of people that did stuff like that, Jake, that moved out for a bit and then realized when they were renting, they were literally blowing all the money they'd saved up and then just moved back. Like I said, I'm planning on moving out fairly soon and rent sharing with a friend, but we'd have to find somewhere cheap enough that that's actually a financially viable option. It would pretty much wreck the economy for years, Mosin Nagant. It's going to wreck the Chinese economy for a very long time. There'd be no World War II relics where I am because I'm in the middle of England, where we have not had famous battles in quite a long time, especially no World War II battles here. Metal detecting seems interesting, but it's not something I'm really all that interested in all honesty. Thank you very much, Arthur. Favorite Soviet mask that was used throughout the Warsaw Pact? The Shums, I think, was used by a few nations, as in the SHMS. So probably that. Because, yeah, the Shums was used by East Germany, obviously used by the Soviets, probably used by some other Warsaw Pact nations. And that's one of my favorites, just because it's a very practical mask. What's the most damaging to your eyes? Sorry, Murray, who you're replying to. If you're on about UVC light. Oh, blue lasers. Oh, but yeah, I suppose that's the equivalent of UV in laser form, isn't it? GP9, I don't think I've got stored in this room, so no, I can't show it, and mine's broken anyway, sadly. Yeah, Norfolk, Suffolk's a nice enough place. And yeah, it's weird. Some areas of the UK are a lot better for house prices than others. I think the reason Oxford sucks for house prices is because we're only like 40 miles away from London or whatever, and you can literally get a train directly from Oxford to London. Lots of people buy houses in Oxford to commute to London. Like, that's the only reason they buy them. They don't even live in, like, essentially work in Oxford. They just live here. But I know there was a thing they were on about not too long ago, though, where they were saying in Oxford, nobody in Oxford can actually afford to buy a house there, who lives there, in the sense, like if you worked in Oxford, you wouldn't be able to afford a house there unless, you had a top, like 1 or 2% of the jobs, which is kind of crazy thinking, all the people that work in Oxford in shops or like, cleaning, whatever their kind of jobs are, council offices, anything like that, none of them would ever be able to afford the house prices in central Oxford, which is pretty much London levels of, close to $1 million for houses and flats. I like North FC memes. Does that make me Northern? But I'm not actually Northern. I just like North FC memes. Favorite children's mouse? Probably a Mickey Mouse from World War II, just because its bright colours and looks interesting. In terms of practicality, the Israeli children's mask by a mile is the best, just because it's a 4A1 that's downsized. Yeah, let's have a look at the map. So the US has 11 confirmed cases at this point. Let me just refresh it in case there's any more. 11 cases on this map, 5 in Canada. Britain is 2, although we've got quite a few people under suspect at the moment or whatever. 6 confirmed in France, 12 confirmed in Germany. Is that Latvia or Estonia that's got one at the moment? Oh, it's like a region of Russia that's actually in Central Europe. Never mind. Russia, 2 confirmed cases. China, 24,460. India is 3 confirmed cases, but I imagine that will go up. Thailand's 25 cases. Japan's 35 cases at this point. Because apparently, didn't they have a tour bus driver in Japan who caught it, and they think he might have spread it to several busloads of people before they realised? I like Heinz baked beans, but the ones, do they call it Bramwells or Branston's or something? The ones they do at Aldi are pretty good. A lot of the Aldi stuff is pretty good for the price. Oh yeah, they've got that entire cruise ship quarantined off of Japan now, haven't they? Because a load of people got ill or died on there or something. I doubt it would an FM12 Ghost Jesus because it's black butyl. A GP5 will eventually start going brown under UVB light, I imagine, but I don't think it'd be particularly fast. Well, as in me already tweets, they exist over here. Would I bother buying them? No, I just literally stock up on regular food because military MREs, if you're buying them, are a massive waste of money over here, as in £20 to £30 for a day worth of food. Just stock up on shitloads of like rice, oats, beans, stuff like that, nuts, all the other things that you can keep in a cupboard for ages, get a mixed lot of nutrition from, canned goods. My favourite Soviet mask is the Shums, as I've already said. Yep, if you're getting a Draeger full face mask, though, I'd advise a 40mm one, not their proprietary filters one. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody, if you haven't liked it already, because I'll be going off in a few minutes, and it'd be good to get the likes over 200. Ah, good, it's gone over 200. What I wish they still let you see is, now and again they've put this on YouTube for the live streams, and then they've not done it in ages, is they used to do a thing where you could see an accumulative total of all the super chats you've had. But at the moment, I have to now wait like 3 days after I've done a live stream to see how many people donated altogether. Unless I'm tallying them down on the paper as I go along, but I'm not really sad enough to do that. But thank you again for everybody that's donated. I appreciate it. Also, just something to ask while I'm on a live stream, because it's the easiest way of doing it. How many people have or haven't been getting notifications for my videos? Because although it seems a lot of people are coming on the live streams at the moment, I've noticed a lot of people have been telling me on the regular videos they're not getting notifications, and I've noticed the views have started dropping off again. So whether or not it's I've upset YouTube talking about something, or they're just deciding to change the algorithms again, I don't know. I know there are ways, if you always want to know about a YouTube video, that you can somehow set like an RSS feed or something up to do it, just for the people who really wanted to see all my videos. I doubt people are that sad to really want to see mine all the time, but it's just one of those thoughts. So sometimes, Mr. W, then it's a very late notification, I take it. So, as in, you'll get a notification, it's just sometimes a bit too late on a live stream. That's a bit stupid, isn't it? But oh well, better than nothing. Yeah, the announcement on Discord works very well, but obviously people have to be on the Discord server for that. But Hype was very sensible to set that up because it's actually really useful. I think he was going to set up for Mike's videos as well, as in Weapon Collector, but I don't know if he's got round to that yet. But yeah, I know every time I do a video on mine, it always notifies you on there, which is good. So it means people who are on the Discord can literally just look on there for my latest videos. Lick, subscribe, and smack the bell. I don't know if licking surfaces is a good idea, but thank you, Ghost Jesus. But yeah, I've heard some people saying protecting yourself from coronavirus is racist. I don't see how not wanting to get infected with a virus is racist. But again, it's going back to what we were saying the other day about people projecting racism onto other people. If it becomes an epidemic in the UK, it wouldn't be you know, I'd be scared of everybody that's sneezing or coughing. You know, it wouldn't matter what skin color they have, or, you know, if they're Chinese or Asian or whatever. If it becomes a pandemic, I just avoid everybody, you know. So there's that. Apparently, Dettol, blundering Tusker, kind of advertising that their Dettol cleaner kills the coronavirus. So maybe get Dettol. If it doesn't work against corona, sue them on your deathbed. That would be my suggestion. I think there's video explaining what masks Sid Wilson has, but I know a load of them are like Soviet masks he's just pulled apart, or British masks he's pulled apart. Well, I think we should be quarantining everybody with who shows positive corona at the moment, just because they can't spread it that way. Because, you know, that's not really an overestimate. That's what the UK is doing at the moment, which seems very sensible. You know, because if you've got something that can infect people and kind of spread like wildfire, it seems, and potentially give people pneumonia symptoms, probably best just to quarantine them in a medical ward for a couple of weeks, you know, until they're better. Don't let them just wander around doing nothing. Oh, it was Lysol, was it? But yeah. Buy Lysol, then sue Lysol if it doesn't work. What did he say, Mike? Let's have a look. Oh, he's an upset person, is he? Hasn't got any friends, I take it. Oh, well. £10 to £30 mask that I recommend. It's not a full-size gas mask, but this one. Most of the masks I'd recommend under £30 are coming from China. And why I'm not scared of, they might have a virus on them, like a load of people have been saying. The main issue is they're going to take ages to ship to you because they've extended Chinese New Year again to try and, you know, like help control the spread of the virus. So lots of places aren't exporting masks for another week or two. Yeah, I bet, Murray, it's something to do with like MSA, 3M, and all the other companies kind of banding together so their proprietary filters sell more easily than 40mm or some bullshit like that. Yeah, I've seen the ones where they're literally welding bars over people's doors and things. So it's literally like, you know, putting the crosses and barricading them in from the old Great Plague stuff. Oh, I assume apparently some of the JSB masks people were saying are made in the UK, which is interesting. Probably because it can't kill everything, and if they claimed 100%, they'd get sued when it inevitably doesn't kill something on the surface. A bit like P3 filters are actually 99.7% efficient filters or something like that. Just be careful with germicide or UVC. Gaming melon, as cool as it is, don't look into it, you'll get arc eye. It will give you sunburn if you're around it for too long, and, you know, horrible ozone smells. But anyway, yeah, I'll be going off now. Thanks, everybody, and thank you for everybody that did super chats. I'll just double check nobody's signed up on Patreon in the meantime. I need to send a Discord invite to. But I'm just going to quickly go out and film some more footage with the Gen 2 night vision Hype's letting me borrow, or Laserpoint Productions letting me borrow the Hype. You know, he bought through Hype. Hype sent it to me so I can play with it for a week or two, and then Laserpoint's going to have it off of me, and so I'm going to post it to him in Australia. But Gen 2 night vision is just fucking sick, like how well you can see in the dark with it. I mean, I love Gen 1 as well, but, you know, Gen 1 Plus is bloody good, but Gen 2 is another thing entirely. Anyway, so yeah, see you, everybody. Hope everybody has a good evening. Stay safe, stay aware, I guess, check things, and, you know, if you want to be sensible and not a crazy person, just stock up on antiseptics, first aid, food and water and all that sort of stuff that seems sensible to do. You don't have to do anything crazy, you know, just stock up and be prepared and keep an eye out, I guess. Because UVC burns your skin and eyes. I've got a UVC lamp and I would not want that on running in the background. Anyway, yeah, see everybody. Goodbye. Thank you for all the donations. And catch you on a stream tomorrow, probably a similar time. See you then.